have some breaking news about the Los Angeles housing market. According to Redfin, LA home prices are up 5.6% from last year, hitting a median sales price of $1 million. But the fascinating part is homes are now taking 59 days to sell instead of 49 days last year. And that is creating some really interesting opportunities in Silverlake, Echo Park, and Los Feliz. Okay, let's break this down and what's actually happening in our marketplace right now and some numbers that you need to know. So the median sales price right now, as I said before, is $1,005,000. Now, I know that is a crazy amount of money, and you're probably thinking that you're going to get this gigantic mansion for $1 million. But the reality is most likely you're going to get a 2-bedroom, 2-bath in a decent neighborhood. Probably need some updates on that property as well. It's absolutely insane how expensive the Los Angeles housing market is. But I have been able to get some buyers into properties with some good seller concessions lately. So don't lose hope because there are some really good opportunities right now. According to Redfin, the average numbers of offers per listing is 3, which is down from 5% from last month. And I can attest to this. I just got a buyer into escrow. There was 4 offers on the property and we were successfully able to negotiate the winning bid for that buyer. And that property was a fixer-upper in an entry-level price point, but I am seeing this in upper price ranges as well, depending on the location and how good of a condition that property is. If you're seeing something that is fully remodeled, that is beautifully designed, you're going to get multiple offers on that almost in every single neighborhood. That is, if it's priced well. If it's overpriced, we're seeing things stay on the market a lot longer. So pricing is going to be really, really important for you sellers out there. You need to make sure that you work with an agent who understands pricing in your neighborhood really, really well, because that can make the difference between getting multiple offers and getting your price bid up above the listing price, or keeping your property on the market for a long time and then having to do some price reductions and essentially chasing the market. Now, 37.2% of all homes are selling above their asking price. So anytime that a home sells above their asking price, you can still consider it a really good seller's market. Now, obviously, this number has gone down since the peak during the pandemic years, but 37% is a lot of really good, strong seller's market data. And only 13.7% of homes are doing price reductions. You can see that some of these properties are still a little bit overpriced and they're needing to make adjustments on their property. One thing that I would recommend if you are a seller, make those price adjustments quicker and more substantial than you probably want to, because it will re-energize and reinvigorate your listing to get more people through the door. You want to make those adjustments fairly quickly, because the longer a property stays on the market, what is the first thing that people think? What's wrong with it? So you don't want a buyer to think, what's wrong with your property? Why hasn't it sold? So make those price adjustments aggressively and do it soon before it starts to get a little bit stale. Now, let's talk about what's actually happening in our marketplace that's making it unique. According to the data from the National Association of Realtors, the home prices tend to be the lowest during December, January, and February months. They're typically your winter months, and you typically see less people out there purchasing properties, mostly because of the holidays in December, and then they're recuperating in January. In February, they're just starting to get their wheels going for an actual home purchase. So you see that almost every single year in a bell curve, where the peak summer season is the most amount of sales and the most amount of buyers and sellers and listings. And then during the winter months, that's when buyers tend to get the best deals. So we're still in those winter months. If you're thinking about buying a home, I would do it sooner than later so you can capitalize on some of the appreciation that we're going to see the rest of this year. Speaking of home appreciation, there are 16 economists, and almost all of them, except 2, are expecting that homes are going to appreciate. Now, remember, what I'm showing you right now are national statistics, and you always need to compare that to local statistics, because every region and every city has a different dynamic and is going to be a little bit different than the national headlines. And LA tends to outpace the national headlines because we're a very robust economy. We have a very diverse economy as well, and there's a lot of demand here in Los Angeles. But nationally, they're expecting a 2.9% appreciation. Okay, let's talk about what the Mortgage Bankers Association is going to predict for interest rates. As of today's filming, the interest rates are right at about 7%, and I really, really wish that they would go down more, because I think it will open up a huge amount of buyers and sellers who want to have a more reasonable interest rate. However, the Trump administration's tariffs could throw a giant wrench into the mortgage predictions for this year. If these tariffs are implemented, it's going to increase the cost of goods, which is going to increase inflation, which is going to freak the feds out. So they might actually increase those interest rates. If they do that, that is not going to be good for anybody, obviously. But remember, the Fed's rates are not what mortgage rates are. The mortgage rates follow the 10-year bond, so we need to keep an eye out on that. With any regards to what happens with the administration, we just have to keep an eye on it because you never know what's going to come out of this administration, whether good or bad. That is something that we just have to keep an eye out on. But from most economists, they're expecting that it's going to be above 6% and mostly around 6.3%, 6.5% towards the end of the year. It's really anyone's guess at the moment. So if you're a buyer just waiting for interest rates to come down, it might not come down very quickly or at all, depending on what happens with current events. So if you are comfortable in that mortgage payment, get into that property now and take advantage of some of the appreciation that we're expecting for the rest of the year. Let's dive into some local data. Silverlake, Echo Park, and Los Feliz. For example, right now there are actively 71 properties on the market in Silverlake and Echo Park, and that's actually gone down since November. I think a lot of that has to do with the normal seasonality. Typically, winter months, December, January, February are the lowest months of new active listings. So this follows what has historically been happening. Now, days on the market has seen a steady trend upward. Things are taking a lot longer to sell than they did even a year ago. We're seeing 67 days on the market to sell a home. So if you're thinking about selling a home and you want to be moved out in 2 months, you need to put your home on the market today. So keep that in mind when you were thinking about planning to sell, to move, to buy a new place, or to relocate. It's taking a little bit longer for some of these properties to sell. So keep that in mind if you were thinking about selling your home here in the Los Angeles area, specifically in Silverlake or Echo Park. And as you can see from this graph, median price point went all over the map last year. So $1.5 million is the median price point in Silverlake. I know it's crazy, but wait till you see the median price point in Los Feliz. If we jump over to Los Feliz, there are 47 properties that are currently on the market right now. And it's taking about 70 days for a home to sell in the Los Feliz area. But wait till you see the median price point. Median price is $2.481999 million. That is a staggering amount of money. But remember, there are some really expensive homes in the hills in Los Feliz, and that brings up that average pretty dramatically. So here's what I want you to do. If you are thinking about selling or buying a home in the greater Los Angeles area, there's a really great free tool called HomeBot that I am giving to all of my clients. It's completely free, and it gives you a ton of really good data that you can use to make educated decisions on whether you want to sell or whether you want to buy. This is a perfect platform to get a lot of information, like how much you can rent your home for, how much equity you have in your home's total value, how much can you get for your home as a short-term rental, or if you need to sell before you buy. All of this is really good information that you can use to make a good decision. Click on the link down below so you can be fully educated on what you want to do moving forward. My name again is Felipe Crook with EXP Realty, investing in your dreams.